What's up guys, Coop here, and today we're going to be talking about the Steam sale. I'm going to be showing you guys 10 awesome games that you guys should check out for the Steam sale, and they are honestly some of the best deals out there, and they also are some of the more fun games and fun gems that many people don't really know about. So let's actually dive in. So the first one I obviously have to talk about is one of the biggest things that's growing on my channel is my Divinity Original Sin 2 videos, and I definitely like this game. It's obvious. I have more than almost 200 hours into this, and it's only 40 bucks right now. Now you might be saying, that seems like a lot of money, but keep in mind the dollar per hour amount that you get is insane. You are getting a lot of money out of this game. It has a lot of things like sort of these D&D elements that makes it really fun, and it has a lot of role-playing stuff, and there's also multiple different modes. There's also a GM mode, which you can use to enhance sort of your game, and if you ever want to do a D&D session, but you guys are all far away on computers, well, this is a way of doing actual D&D without having to be in the traditional pen and paper scene. So it's very nice, and they have a variety of different things, and also, a lot of people forget about this, but they do have a active community and also a Steam workshop to where you can download many different sort of mods and things to sort of help out and improve your game. And say like you really want to try out all the stories, they have this nice little mod here where you can expand your party size up to 6 or more players. So very fancy, very nice game. Obviously you guys know that I enjoy this, so let's dive into the next. Next is GTA 5. So GTA 5 obviously has a very fun online mode, and right now they just added the Doomsday heist. This Doomsday heist is one of probably the best one, I would say, of all the heists out there. It's very low right now. The game literally costs $23 to play, so very cheap. And then not to mention it has a lot of content. So if you're new to the series, jumping right in on this game with all the online features is insane. Sadly, there hasn't been any single player story lines that have been kind of developed at all. But that's okay, because the online mode makes up for that. It's very vast, it's continually updating. Now, it does cost a lot of money to jump right in, and you're going to have to be doing a lot of these little heists to kind of get back into the series. But that's okay. Just because you have to play the game a lot doesn't mean it's a bad game. It's very fun, and it's honestly worth it because it's so cheap at the moment. Now, don't let this price go away, because you really want to get it now while it's cheap, because it's going to be going up to $60 really fast, really soon, and you want to be jumping in with this Doomsday heist and playing with all your friends before it's too late. Next is good old Cuphead. This wouldn't be a list without mentioning one of the best indie games out there. So Cuphead is a very unique game. It kind of has different aspects of sort of these run and gun old typey shooters, along with having some Mario-like elements. So you have to jump over the enemies, you have to jump over the holes and whatnot, but you also got to make sure that you shoot your enemies and shoot with all these different other mechanics in between. The game doesn't just make it to where it's the simple just run and shoot and jump in mechanics. It does throw in some different aspects along the way, and each of the boss battles are very unique, and they have multiple different phrases along with amazing music and different things in between thrown in. And it has a very nice overall story with a beautiful art style. And right now it's super cheap. It's $16 and it's worth your time. Now you're probably wondering, it's an indie game, it's probably going to take me only like 15 hours to beat or whatever. But this game is actually kind of tough. If you play it on easy mode, it's a little bit easier, obviously, kind of goes with the name. But it's, as you can see, it has an overwhelmingly positive review. So you know this game is good. And it's just a very nice game in general. It was created by just a few people. So the fact that it was only created by a few people and it's one of the top games of the year is insane. I highly recommend if you guys haven't played it yet. Next is Total War Warhammer. So Warhammer is definitely a really fun universe to explore. And with it comes all these different races and playstyles. Every single one of these sort of characters have their own unique playstyle, such as Chaos, where instead of you building bases, you pillage and destroy them, and you are your army. And then you have Skaven, where they throw all these different troops at each other, and just basically they don't care about their troops dying, they're just fodder. They just keep tossing them and tossing them. And that's one of the things that this game brings very unique in. And also it has a bunch of unique playstyles, and also it's not just a normal RTS. It's one that you can actually manipulate the battlefield and kind of figure out what type of troops you want to have and where they should go. So it combines what is good with games like StarCraft and then mixes them in with the Civilization to where it's a nice, like, kind of, I would say, combination to where it really fits well. Now this one has probably the worst sale out of all of them. It's only 10% off, but keep in mind the dollar per hour amount. These games typically take roughly, I would say, 16 hours per round just to play. And then not to mention you're going to be learning and trying out all these different campaigns, and each of these campaigns are easily like 20 hours plus. So if you keep that all in mind, there is way more than $53 worth of content here. There's a lot, and there's not really that many DLCs, so it would be a great time to kind of join in before it gets crazy with DLCs. The thing is, like, if you look at Blood for the Blood God 2, that's just a bloody mod. It's not an actual mod, so you don't have to worry too much about that. And then that way you can kind of jump into the series and be all caught up and kind of learn your own playstyle. It's very fun to play with other friends as well. So, highly recommend this game. Definitely check it out. Now, this is a fun game, Drunken Robo Pornography. Now, before you jump over at me, I've played this game, and at first I was like, what the hell, I'll just, throw a few bucks at it. So on my other Steam account, I've been playing this game like a crap ton. And it's one of those games you really don't expect to be good, but it's actually pretty fun. It has sort of these different bosses, and each one's very unique. Some's got like lasers, others got like balls that try to hit you, others try to have like melee attacks, and they're very all unique and sort of fun. It's a nice little shooter that you can just jump around and sort of gravity shoot everything, and it's got very much like a Doom sort of weightless mechanic to it. And I find that really interesting. It also allows you to make your own custom robots that you can fight. And it's just really cool overall. So as you can see, just from some of the screenshots here, you can see there's vastly different bosses and whatnot. And not to mention, it's literally $2. You can't beat that. It's like a little fun house game to just jump around and shoot these different robots. And you can buy like a 3-pack for all your friends and for like $6. So you just jump in, you make some stupid robots, and then you try to kill your friends with your awesome badass robot. It's just the way to go. Next is Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. So this game looks very basic, and it looks like you're just tossing some pizzas at some kid. It looks really boring. That is not what this game is actually at all. It is actually Five Nights at Freddy's 4. They're hiding it from you. Trust me when I say, when you jump into the game, you do this like designing pizzas and throwing pizzas at them for like maybe a part, but later on it gets crazy. You actually start playing the game of Five Nights at Freddy's. You have a building simulator. It has all these different things, and it is also free. So check that out. A lot of people keep putting it off on their radars. I'm going to be doing a nice little let's play, just one off, showing you guys it. Trust me, it is insanely crazy. So check it out. Next is Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, you might be saying, why Assassin's Creed Origins? Why a AAA game? Well, one of the reasons that I recommend this game is it has a formula change. So Assassin's Creed has been known for its very easy combat. You literally would just spam counter the whole time. Then when somebody attacks, you get to do a nice little slash, and then you can slash them up a little bit, and then you just spam the counter button again. Well, this game kind of changed that formula up a little bit. They looked at the aspects of what was making Assassin's Creed fun and how they could change it. So what they did is they changed the combat, which I really appreciated, and they changed vastly how the gear and everything worked. But this is like one of the best games to do if you want to jump back into the series. I know I played pretty much all of Ezio and Auditore's sort of storyline, and then I did Altair a little bit as well, and then I played pretty much all those games, and then as soon as they released like the one Assassins in France and everything and all those other games, I kind of like just dropped off and I just didn't care about it. But this one is actually good. They redid it very well, has a very nice diverse storyline, and you get to see the origin of the assassins. Now this one also has a ridiculously good deal of 30% off, so it's only $41 compared to its usual price of $60, so it's a nice little grab if you guys want to jump back into the series. I highly recommend, and not to mention, you know that DLC is going to be coming out pretty soon, so be sure to check that out. Next is an obscure one that many of you guys do not actually know about, but it is the Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker. So this game has multiple different endings, it has actors, and what you do is you kind of like type to them and ask them questions to figure out sort of, one, who killed Dr. Decker, and figure out what these patients' kind of problems are. So you're figuring out and diagnosing them, you're also trying to solve a murder, and there's a lot of really funny things that you can do in between, and it's an open-ended game, so there's multiple different responses, and there's no like right path to do it. There's multiple different paths and multiple different questions, multiple different things you can do to figure out the game. And with having the multiple endings, it makes it have a lot of replayability, and not to mention the price is only $7. So you really can't complain because you're really getting your money's worth. And this is a game that not many people know about, but it's really honestly good. And it reminds me of some of the other games out there like Her Story, where you could just type in and figure out all these different things, and it had like sort of like a meta like game with it along with the game. So it's very important that you guys kind of check that out. I think you guys would have a lot of fun with it, and not to mention it's only $7. It's super cheap. Alright, next is Doki Doki Literature Club. This game is actually free, but if you notice, you've got that psychological horror element right there on the tag. Now you're looking at this game, it looks like a dating sim, but keep in mind this game is actually a horror game, and it gets super crazy later on. I'm actually doing a Let's Play, so be sure to check that out. But this is one of the games, it's not so much part of the Steam sale, but it is a good game overall to check out. It's free, obviously, but it has all these different weird elements, and it gets crazy later on. The screenshots lie to you about what the game actually turns into, and when you guys see part 3 of my series, you guys will understand fully that this game is insane. Insane. Next is good old Life is Strange Before the Storm. So this is like a prequel to the original Life is Strange. It has a very nice, diverse story with a lot of different characters that are reoccurring from the previous series, obviously, because, you know, it's a prequel. But it's very interesting because they managed to add enough story to where you don't really know everything that's going on, but you know how things are going to end. And with that inevitability kind of going in, it makes it really hard to figure out what is going to be going on, because you know how the game's going to end, but you also don't know what is going on in between. And they add enough stories and different elements to it to make it worthwhile. There is a cool little arguing mechanic that is really nice, and it kind of makes up for the time warp sort of thing that you had in the previous game. That was one of the biggest failing points that a lot of people were kind of mad about. They were like, well, is there going to be the time rewind thing? But instead they kind of do all these different other aspects to it. And not to mention, Chloe as a character is very fun and interesting to play as, because we get to see her story, and not to mention, it's fun to just kind of be an edgelord and just kind of like make fun of people and just like argue and all these different really fun mechanics with all the different characters, compared to Max in the first game where she's very kind-hearted and everything. So it's a different aspect, it's a different viewpoint, and it's a different story that leads into making Life is Strange a sort of better universe overall. And it is at the price of $11.89. So pretty cheap overall. You definitely get your money's worth out of it. And not to mention, there's multiple replayability because you get to see what actions do what. So highly recommend. Alright guys, so I was just showing you guys a few cool games in the winter sale. I wanted to give you guys sort of these games that are worth your money. They definitely have a lot of replayability, and you definitely would get a lot more of your dollar per hour amount with them. Now there's many different games I didn't mention, but keep in mind there are so many games out there, but I just wanted to show you guys the top 10 games that I enjoy. I tossed in some free ones because I know everybody has like a little bit of budget, and some of these games fly off of people's radars, but I wanted to show them off because they have some really interesting elements, and they're definitely what the internet is kind of raving on about. So definitely check out all those games. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe. I am trying to get up to 800 subscribers by the end of this month. So hopefully we can get there. We're really close. We're about 50 off, but I know we can do it. So be sure to check that out. Anyways, I thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.